LeBron James made his season debut last night, and this was always going to be a game that was going to be of heavy, heavy discussion. You see, the Lakers, they got off to begin this year with a 10-4 record. They were doing pretty well, led by Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves. And then you throw arguably the greatest of all time out there. That's going to be a massive adjustment, especially the play style of LeBron James. The way that he can at times be so on-ball dominant. And you start to wonder if, with the momentum the Lakers had, would putting LeBron back in that lineup be truly beneficial for them? Or would they kind of plateau? And last night, I think we saw kind of a different version of LeBron than we've seen pretty much ever. He took a back seat on the scoring side of things and made his mark as a playmaker, dishing out a lot of assists, especially in that fourth quarter. And I really liked what I saw from LeBron in this game. And I think overall, moving forward, this could be a really good spot for him. I have my doubts as well going into the squad this year because think back to Russell Westbrook, his tenure in LA. At the time it happened, immediately it felt like a lot of people knew this is not going to be a good fit. Him alongside Brown and AD, who's going to handle the ball, who's going to space the floor. It didn't seem like a good fit. Even though the talent was there, Westbrook was still that guy. He just averaged a triple-double over to Washington. The fit just didn't seem right. So going into this year, how do we fit LeBron back in with Austin Reaves taking a step up and Luka Doncic playing arguably the best ball of his career, at least to begin a season? That seemed very difficult, and I didn't quite know how it was going to work out. I think a lot of people had their doubts, and rightfully so. I know Dom 2K was talking about it, and kind of the case for the Lakers putting LeBron as a sixth man, and why maybe that would be the best decision. Kind of what they did with Russ when Darvin Ham came in, when they put Westbrook on the bench, and that allowed him to be more efficient, more consistent, not be such a black hole playing alongside LeBron and AD, because he got to be that secondary playmaker, that spark plug off the bench. And at 23 years in the league, at this point in LeBron's career, why not? You can't blame him at this point. He's played more seasons than anybody in NBA history now. So it wouldn't be a bad thing to put him on the bench. But ultimately, that was not the case. That's not what they did. They put LeBron in, and he had a good game. It was not the same kind of game that we're used to seeing from him throughout the 22 years he's been in the NBA, but that's okay. It was different, and it kind of needed to be. It was very much so a case of playmaking first, scoring second, being more passive. And at this point in his career, I think that is what is best for LeBron James. That's not a knock on him whatsoever. He can absolutely still be that guy. He's not many seasons removed from averaging 30. However, at this point, with the way this team is currently set up, I loved what I saw from LeBron last night. And we talk about his legacy, right? One of the biggest things that comes down to is his longevity. He does not have the rings of MJ, but he does have a lot more records. At least, you got the all-time scoring record. You have being in the top 10 in rebounds and assists all time. All the games that he's played, the longevity he has had, that is truly unprecedented. Nobody has played as long as LeBron has, and nobody, even a couple years ago, had played as long as he did and was still as good as he was. That longevity is what makes LeBron special. And I think moving into perhaps this new stretch of his career in which he takes more of a backseat, not necessarily more of a backseat, but just plays more passive in order to be more of a winning player at this point in his career, I think that's actually a testament to his longevity. I don't think it's contradictory. You could say it's contradictory because of the fact that at this point now, at year 23, he's declining, right? But I think it's complementary. Because at this point in his career, he is still finding a way to be so valuable to his team, in spite of his body not holding out the same way it once did. This was the first year of his career he has not been eligible for his season debut at the same time the team is. He was not there to start the season with the team. First time that's ever happened. His body isn't the same as it once was. He isn't the same player he was 10 years ago, and that's okay, because he is still proving that he can be a winning player. And he's doing it in a different way now. And I think that's actually really cool to see for somebody like LeBron James. And as we look around the league, guys like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, it feels like there's so many guys now who are just maintaining this high level of play for so long at ages we had never seen before. And that's really cool to see. But LeBron James, over the age of 40 now, 23 seasons in the league, to still be competing at a high level, to still be impacting the game at a high level, the way that he transitioned, that's actually so impressive to me. Think about Carmelo Anthony. Think about Russell Westbrook. These guys who, in the top years of their career, they still had an abundance of talent. That was evident. They did not just wake up one day and suddenly not become MVP Russ or top scorer in the league Carmelo Anthony. They didn't wake up and lose that talent. That talent was still there, but they just didn't quite have it in them to execute it on a night-to-night basis. And so for them, it took a long time for them to buy into more of a team role. Carmelo Anthony found himself out of the league until he finally found a spot where he could revitalize his career, prove he could be a team player, and just play complementary basketball. For the first time in his career, he had spent a decade plus being the guy, the go-to option on a squad. That's a massive adjustment to go from that to being a lot more passive. And it takes time for somebody like him, for somebody like Westbrook, to go from being at the top of the league at your position, being one of the best there is, to go from that to being just this passive guy in a supporting role. That can take time. And that is a massive, massive adjustment because everybody in the league, they have to have confidence. You have to be confident as a ball player because there's a lot of talented guys in high school, a lot of talented guys in college. You have to have that confidence that you can and will make it, that you are the best on the court at a given time, that you're going to do all that you can to win, and that you're going to be valuable. You have to have that confidence. And so, to take a step back and be confident in your ability to provide this team and lead them to victory in a lesser role, that's a massive adjustment. And for some, if you take it the wrong way, it can be a massive hit to your confidence because you feel like they're taking away what should still be yours, when in fact, instead, it's just transitioning you to a better role, one that might even lead you to more success. So that can be a massive, massive adjustment. But for LeBron James, in his return, his season debut, 23 years in, it's so huge for me to be able to see him step back, just take on that playmaking role, let Luka do more of the scoring. I think that's huge for the legacy of LeBron James. And is it going to be divisive? Is it going to be polarizing? I think so. I think absolutely. For years now, you've obviously had so many debates about MJ and LeBron. Who is the greatest of all time? And really, when you look at this moment, I think people at this point in the career of LeBron, they're kind of set on how they perceive him. I don't think there's a lot that's going to change at this point in terms of how people perceive him. If they want to see him as the best, they will see him as the best. If they don't, then they're never going to see him as the greatest. And with this move, I feel like those who are still advocates for MJ, of which I very much so understand, I feel like they're going to say that at this point, LeBron took a massive step back, and Jordan retired before he ever got to that point. But of course, the LeBron supporters are going to say that taking a step back, it was what was best for the team, and it proved his value, even in spite of his age. It's even more so a testament to his longevity. So in the MJ LeBron debates, ultimately, it's all superficial. It doesn't have a lot of meat to it. Not much meat on its bones. It doesn't matter that much, right? But it is going to be a discussion. And so, yeah, this is always going to be polarizing, what LeBron is doing right now. But I think it's the right decision. I think he's playing smart. When we talk about basketball IQ, in the history of the NBA, there are not many guys better at that than LeBron James. Not many guys who know the game better than LeBron. And so at this point in his career, for him to be able to take a step back, to take that hit to your role, and to take that in stride and be confident in your new ability. He only took 7 field goals last game and made 4 of them. That is such a stark contrast from everything that we've ever seen from LeBron. For him to do that, I think that's a testament to his character, a testament to his maturity. And as he went to his season debut, there are a lot of people questioning that. A lot of people questioning what his role would be. If he should take a step back, and if he actually would. And a lot of people, I felt like, they kind of decided that maybe he should take a step back, but he probably wouldn't because he's LeBron James, because he has this idea in his mind that he's the greatest of all time, so why should he? But LeBron instead, he did take a step back. He was more of a playmaker last night, and it was huge. He had a good night, and I'm very interested to see how the season goes. Is this going to be the norm? Will he kind of average it out to be more so a typical LeBron season? I want to see the extent of how far this goes. But if this first game, his season debut, is any indication, this is going to be quite the season to watch for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers.